Welcome Lund loyalists to John Lund Unleashed. Those watching on YouTube, on the John Lund Unleashed and Bay Area Sports Collective channels. Viewers on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and Lunders listening to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. John Lund Unleashed, brought to you by 𝐸𝐴𝐵 Sports Medicine. Got pain? Check out our revolutionary stem cell treatments. And guys, if low T is bringing you down, 𝐸𝐴𝐵 Sports Medicine can put you back in the game. Now all juiced up and ready to go, here's Johnny.
What's happening? Thanks for joining us. Thursday edition of the program. That's what the show cover looks like. Today is Verlander cooked. You can see the steak. It looks very nice at the bottom there. Episode 170. Much appreciated your attendance on this Thursday edition of the program. If you are new here, welcome. We have a tremendous community that you should consider joining. You should just do it. I will be taking roll call in just a second on those in the chat room on YouTube on John Lund Unleashed. Please make sure you subscribe. Also hit us with a like because the algorithm then goes, not a half bad show. So we hit that as well. Keep those alerts on because we send out stuff all through the day, whether it be shorts or breaking news or whatever the case may be, fun highlights or stuff going on in the sports world. So make sure that you have those alerts on as well. Please tell all your friends and enemies. Also, that big B in the left-hand corner, that is the Bay Area Sports Collective. So that's my show, John Lund Unleashed. A lot of former KMBR guys. Tom Tolbert, of course, Polymac, and Creative Tony, Polymax Particles. As part of it as well, Rod Brooks, Quality Hang. Also, Amy G, remember her from doing great stuff with the Giants. Has a great podcast and YouTube show on women in sports media. So check that out as well. And former Giant and very outspoken guy and tremendous stories. That is Jeremy Affeld. That is part of the Bay Area Sports Collective, and we are always adding new shows there. Thanks to those watching on Instagram today, X, Facebook, whether it be my personal page or John Lund Unleashed, you can join or friend. Also, LinkedIn. You're supposed to be really working on LinkedIn, but you're not, and I appreciate you hanging out with us today for episode 170. Before we get to roll call today, lots of great video and fun stuff for you today. Is Justin Verlander done? I've got a little chart for you. We've concentrated so much on getting Devers and looking at the offense. And again, only 2 runs. And you know the story. 4+ is the story for the Giants. 29-10 when they score 4 or more. When they score 3 or less. Now it's 10-23 on the season for the Giants. So it's as simple as that. Runners in scoring position, an issue. Kyle Harrison talks as he gets to Worcester. And soon to be to the Red Sox. And they're actually working on some pitches for him because, as we talked about, he was a 2-pitch guy. Now he's working on some other stuff now that he's in the Red Sox organization. Jim Bowden goes off on the Red Sox and gives the Giants and Buster Posey mad praise. Lakers are going to sell for $10 billion to a group with the Dodgers. Closeout game tonight in Oklahoma City. No Halliburton. That could be problematic. I don't talk a lot of WNBA. I've got some WNBA stories. I was actually a sideline reporter for the first season of the WNBA in Utah, and it's grown, and I give it a ton of respect, but it's not my bag. But the Caitlyn Clark treatment is probably one of the most confusing things I've ever seen in my life, to be completely honest. Random thoughts throughout the day. I don't know that I have a Caboose. I put it up there, and I was planning on getting a Caboose, but I think I ran out of time, so we'll see on that. But good morning. It is great to see everybody today. Before I get out and announce roll call today, do remember our fine sponsor. That is Dr. Jeffrey 𝐸𝐴𝐵, RIOPELLE. Click on that QR code if you want to feel great like my wife does right now. Shoulder, elbow, her foot. These treatments that Dr. 𝐸𝐴𝐵 was one of the first in California to do, these stem cell treatments, they're honestly magical. She feels absolutely amazing. I was talking to her just literally minutes before I walked in here today, and she's at her desk working, and she's like, make sure you tell them how good he is. And I'm like, I do every single day. So if you're having issues, pain, I'm telling you, it is a magic treatment. He was one of the first in California to do it. So check out Dr. 𝐸𝐴𝐵. Click on that QR code there, 3, 2, 1, or all you got to do is search engine it. Google whatever it is that you use, 𝐸𝐴𝐵, RIOPELLE. Also, I'm doing the low T treatments. I've done those for years, but with Dr. 𝐸𝐴𝐵, it's so much better because you take a quick blood test, then He gets you up to the level you need to be at, and then you don't have to worry about it for about 4 months. You only have to do this a few times a year versus what I was doing, which is going in for shots every single week to deal with it. So you're going to feel better, more energetic, just more like yourself. And you're going to be at the levels that you need to be at no matter how old you are. So it's an absolutely great treatment. Those aren't the only things that Dr. 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐿 does, though. So if you just Google it, 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐿, RIOPELLE, Dr. Jeffrey 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐿, right there in San Ramon, totally worth the drive. If you're in the East Bay, like I always tell you, it's a no-brainer, but he is awesome. So they do all sorts of stuff, make you feel good, make you look good, men, women. So check it out with Dr. 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐿 today. And he is a fine sponsor of the program. So by sponsoring him, by going over and seeing him, you are a sponsor or you are helping out the show. So thank you very much for that. And make sure that you tell him that I said hello and he will treat you extra special. Let's say good morning to everybody. JJ Rader is here in the chat room this morning at John Lund Unleashed. James, good to see you, my friend. Scott, nice. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Enrique is here this morning. Jake, good morning to you, my friend. The 1420. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Trying to get it. Yeah, I totally understand the getting back into the thing. Colin is here. John Joseph, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, Perry. Good to see you, my friend. Alex is here today. Who signed Snell? That's amazing. Who else do we have this morning? Pine Needle. What's happening, man? I hope everybody's doing great as well. Did I say the one? Humboldt Fats. It's good to see you. Hurley-Bird, good morning. JP from the 510. Antonio, what's up to you, man? Good morning, good morning, good morning. If I did not say, hey, David, yo. If I did not say good morning to you, I will at some point, but good morning, and I hope everybody's having a great day on the downhill side of your week, which, by the way, Thursday's an awesome day, isn't it? Where it's like, you can stumble through a Friday if you need to, but I just love Thursdays, man. It's like, okay, we're on the way. All right, let's get to things for episode 170, Justin Verlander last night, and this was the pitch that did him in. This was supposed to be, as you saw Patrick Bailey set up on the inside, floats over the plate. We're just seeing far too much of this from Justin Verlander lately.
In the air, well struck, left center, long run for Lee. He's out of room, it's out of here.
So let me go slow through this. Watch where this location is. Watch where Bailey sets up. Watch where the pitch is. Inside, nope.
In the air,
not
well
where it was.
struck, left center.
So it's not just that pitch for Verlander. I realize he's coming back after being out for a little while, but just as I put on the cover today, is Verlander cooked? Well, look at these numbers. This is his last 2 seasons. And remember, he's 42. He's coming off a neck injury. He's a first ballot, no-brainer, Hall of Famer. And I talked to him about this after his first start. I was in Detroit his first start, and it was July 4th. I think it was, 03, 04, whatever it was. And I covered his first start, and it was a back end of a doubleheader. He was a second overall pick at Old Dominion. I mean, the dude's awesome. Whether it's with Detroit or Houston or whatever, he's done so many great things. Nobody questions that. But at the end of the line, a lot of times for these guys, it doesn't happen slowly. It's just like right off the cliff. His last 28 starts, which in a regular season, you know this, you get 32, 33 starts. We're almost at an entire season over the last 2 years. But he's only pitched 147 innings in those 28 starts. Innings pitched per start, 5.25, so 5 1/3 basically. So he's a 5-and-fly guy at this point of his career. 5-10 record. I know that's an overrated thing, but just letting you know, 5.08 ERA. That's not great. 141 WHIP, not good. Not bad. Strikeout to walk ratio at 121-24. But he's given up 157 hits in that time, 1.07 per innings pitched. And his strikeouts per 9 innings, about a 1.5 down from his career. That's what happens. He's 42. And the most alarming part to me is that, okay, if you're not giving us effective innings, at least eat up innings so that you can save the bullpen. He's only gone 6 innings or more in 5 of his last 20 starts. 4 of 11 this year, and his 8 of his final 9 with Houston in 2024, he didn't go at least 6 innings. So in 15 of his last 20 starts, he hasn't even gone 6. So it's not great. It's not great. Now, if he can be a 5 starter, that's fine. But I told you at the beginning of the season, and I'll take that graphic out of the way so you can see my sweet, shiny face. I told you at the beginning of the season when they signed him for $15 million, which is not a little amount of money. I mean, I know it's not up there at the top, but for all the great things Buster has done, he's not going to do everything perfectly. And I don't mind the flyer on Justin Verlander, but at the beginning, when they signed him and he did that, the Zoom and everything, there was a lot of buzz that maybe he would be the number 2 starter to Logan Webb, who's going tonight, by the way, or this afternoon, by the way, against Cleveland at Oracle Park. I just laughed at that. I thought maybe he can be a 4. He's coming off a major neck injury. He wasn't effective at all last year. He hasn't been effective for a while. And a lot of people were thinking, well, he could be a 2. Well, he's either a 4 or a 5. And really, he's more of a 5 because I think Landon Roop, even though Roop has struggled in a couple of starts, I think Roop is probably better. So if I was going to say, what's the rotation look like? Well, it's obviously Logan Webb 1 and Ray 2 and Birdsong 3 and probably Roop 4. And then Verlander 5, and I wouldn't even hesitate to look into the minor leagues and maybe think, because the one thing that they lost in the Devers trade, and I'm not saying it's bad at all because it's not, it's just they lost any type of safety net in their rotation. And so when Verlander goes out and pitches the way he did last night, which wasn't horrible, I'll show you the line in just a second, but he just missed a lot of spots. Now, I know he's coming back and all those kind of things, but Harrison was a safety net. He's gone. Hicks was a safety net. He's gone. So now where the depth is in the rotation for the Giants is Carson Whisenhunt going to be ready at some point this season? Because that's what's going to take. Or Tristan Beck, is he going to be back up? Or, one of these guys. And they had to be comfortable, obviously, with the depth of the organization, because I'm pretty sure, this is just logic, Jordan Hicks was not thrown into the deal because of talent. And I know they can throw 102 miles an hour, whatever the case may be. But he's got about $30 million left on his contract. And so the reason he was thrown into the deal was, okay, we'll eat the entire contract of Devers, no problem. He's good enough. He's worth the money. But we want to throw some money back your way. And so they said, okay, how about Hicks? And the Red Sox said, okay. And so, he's a usable player. I don't think they're going to use him in the starting rotation. I think he proved within a shadow of a doubt that he's not a starter in this league, that he can be a long guy, he can be a short guy. I mean, to me, and I said this at the beginning of the season, I would have put him in the 7th inning and said, you're going to throw 102. And we're going to go Hicks, Rodriguez, and Duvall. And, Walker's in there too, don't get me wrong. But I mean, I would rather have his special arm in the bullpen throwing 102 miles per hour than I would, high 90s for maybe 5 or 6. I mean, he was a 5 and fly guy for the most part with the Giants. So he's got arm talent. I'm not saying he doesn't. But what I'm saying is I'm sure it was the Giants' suggestion to throw in Hicks so that remainder of the $30 million, okay, we'll eat all of Devers, but we need you to take Hicks and his money. But in that process, they lost 2 guys who were depth pieces for a guy like Verlander if he can't make it through the season. But they must be confident in what they have at the minor league level. Remember, we forget about guys like Mason Black who have been up here. Carson Whisenhunt has been the PCL pitcher of the week. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But there's some depth down there. So they've got some depth in their pitching. It's just at some point they may have to use it. So is Verlander cooked? Okay, we'll give it a little bit more time. But as I just showed you in this graphic, this just isn't over the last couple of starts. This is 28 starts. That's a fair amount of time. 5 innings of starts, so he's a 5 and fly guy, a 5.08 ERA, 141 whip, over a hit an inning. He's down on his strikeouts per 9, and he doesn't give you very many innings. That's a number 5 starter right there. Those are numbers of a 5 starter. So he's Justin Verlander in name. He's going to the Hall of Fame. It's a no-brainer into the Hall of Fame. It's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's done everything you can. He's a freak, still pitching at 42. He's not embarrassing himself out there. But the reality is that that's what he is. He's a 5. So he is Justin Verlander, but he's not Justin Verlander of the Tigers. He's not Justin Verlander of the Astros. He's Justin Verlander of the Mets. I mean, he's not that. So he's a number 5 starter. And so they're going to need some depth within the organization and see who can do what now that they've traded away some pitching depth to the Red Sox, which, like I said, I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting they shouldn't have made that trade. And when I played Jim Bowden in just a minute here, he just absolutely eviscerates the Red Sox for making this deal. So, and I felt the same way. I'm like, that's what you gave up? Really? So I have no issue with it whatsoever, because I think Kyle Harrison is either going to be a back end of the rotation starter or a reliever, because he's only got a 2-pitch mix, which the Red Sox are trying to expand, but we'll see if that can happen. I don't think he's going to turn into Zach Wheeler. I have no regrets from the trade whatsoever, but it does in the short term say, okay, what kind of pitching depth do we have at the minor leagues in case Verlander at 42, who hasn't been very effective, can't get it together, and we may at some point, either he's hurt or whatever the case may be, or we have to say, sorry, Justin, we just can't do this. I know what your name is, And he may want to release at some point if they say, look, you're not in the rotation anymore, because that's going to be a tough decision. Just because his name is Justin Verlander does not mean he gets a rotation spot automatically. That's not where he is at this point of his career. Remember, like a guy like Brandon Crawford, who I'm not comparing to a Justin Verlander, but a guy that very well respected, goes to the Cardinals last year. They got to release him in the middle of the season. They're like, bro, you just can't play anymore. Sorry. And even though he's Justin Verlander, it happens. Jerry Rice got released by the Broncos in training camp. It's like, look, you're a great player, and you're not good enough to be on this team anymore. I don't think it's going to get to that point, but I'm just warning to the fact that he's a number 5 starter at this point in his career. So 5 and fly, can you keep us in a game? He wasn't able to do it last night. He returned. I understand it's different, but I'm not going to say Verlander's done as we're at the top of the chalkboard there, but he is a number 5 starter. That's the way I see it. As far as the hitting is concerned, as I hit right there, runners in scoring position, they've lost 5 of 6, and they're 8 for 52 with runners in scoring position in that time. So that always rears its ugly head with the Giants, whether you have Rafael Devers or not. The same kind of thing happened last night. But one of the things that's getting to me is they get Devers, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, Devers eventually is going to play first base, probably on the regular this season. We'll see what Bryce Eldridge is in the future. But right now, I think Devers is going to be the first baseman for the most part. Fitzgerald at second, Adames at short, Chapman eventually at third, even though we got some bad news on him. And Casey Schmidt, I just can't bear to watch his at-bats. We know what Patrick Bailey is, and he kind of showed it last night. Gets a hit, hooray! And then, 2 fairly incompetent at-bats after that. Yastrzemski's on the upside right now. He's a complete roller coaster ride, so we'll see. Center field, Jung-Hoo Lee, got off to a great start, and he's just okay. I mean, he's just above average as a hitter. He doesn't have a ton of power, but he's going to be there. He's a good defensive center fielder. And then Ramos is above average in left field. I like Ramos. I have no issue with that. So, again, with Bailey struggling behind the plate, and now Casey Schmidt in the lineup, you've got some bad juju there. And then Jung-Hoo Lee's just okay. So it's great getting Devers, but now I'm starting to look at the rest of the roster going, okay, where else could they upgrade? And I've tried to give Tyler Fitzgerald the benefit of the doubt, because the bolt of lightning that he was last year, in which he was almost a 20 home run guy, he's a really good athlete. He can certainly play a good second base. And I thought this guy's going to be a guy to hit 15 to 20 home runs, maybe hit 260, 270, steal 20 bases. They can work with that. But now, let me just share this with you. But now he's becoming a major problem, and I don't think that Buster Posey and the powers that be can be done here. Because if you look at what he's doing right now, first of all, he doesn't hit in this ballpark at all. So it's only 72 at bats, but a 194 batting average and a 483 OPS at home for Tyler Fitzgerald. I get it. People struggle here, but he's 250 points lower at home than he is on the road. That's your home base, buddy. You got to be able to figure it out. Has no home runs and a 194 batting average and a 483 OPS at home. Not good. And then you start looking at by month. So look down here. Got off to a decent start, above average, then below average. And then in June, and only 49 at bats. I get it. But a 143 batting average and a 381 OPS for Tyler Fitzgerald. 7 for 49 in June. And what would you say you do here? I mean, you're getting a few stolen bases, that kind of thing. You're walking a few times, not a lot. It's not like you're getting on base a ton. Your on base percentage. I mean, look, on base, 218 in June. So you can't use your speed. You can't steal first base. So he struggles at home. He's an absolute 0 in June, and he's been worse every single month, 773, 644, 381. So all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, I mean, it hasn't been great. And that power that we thought we were going to get out of Tyler Fitzgerald, you're not getting at all. So Tyler Fitzgerald is pretty much a 0 at second base right now. Good athlete. You're thinking to yourself, going into the season, 15 to 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases. I mean, he might, he could be like a 20-20 guy playing at second base as a complementary piece, as the number 9 hitter, as your double leadoff hitter. And now you're just going, okay, second base is an issue. Catcher is clearly an issue. I'm just talking offensively. Adames hasn't come around, although he's having better at bats, but it is what it is. He's hovering around the Mendoza line. Casey Schmidt's at bats generally are painful. I know he's got a couple of grand slams, one off a position player, this month and has done a couple of things, but the base running the other night and the error in Colorado, which cost him a game, clearly him being in there and Matt Chapman being out is a major problem. And it always seems to me that every time you look up, Casey Schmidt's in a big position at the plate. And I'm like, damn, So look, he's got really good raw tools. I think he's dealing with it gets into his head. You can just see in the dugout, and 𝐾𝐭 was talking about this, that he was talking to Casey Schmidt around the batting cage, and he was saying how last night on the broadcast he was saying how Casey Schmidt takes it home. You can't be that way, dude. There's 162 games. There's 162 of these. You can't grind in your head these you got to come to the ballpark every day, fresh slate. You screw up at the plate, play great defense. You screw up in the field, hit well. It seems to me that he's in his head. He's got power. He's got skills. He's a good defensive player, but he seems to make a lot of mistakes, mental mistakes, and he's not a clutch player at the plate, and it's a problem. So right now, your third baseman isn't hitting, your shortstop's not hitting, your second baseman isn't hitting, your center fielder's on the downside, your right fielder's a roller coaster. I mean, look, they got Devers. It's good. But the last couple of nights against Cleveland, you're scoring 2 runs a game, and I told you, what is it, 10 and 31 or whatever the case may be now? In fact, let me pop it up for you. 4 runs is the key. I've told you this a million times, but look I've got this up here. I've got their game notes. I didn't see the game notes. Let me see if I got game notes for today yet. No, I do not. So let me see here. Hold on one second. Let me get game notes up for today because I was looking at this right before we started the show. So sorry about that. Let me see here. That was yesterday. Game notes. There we go, right there. Okay, so there's your bullpen. The pitching has not been as good this month either. That's hurt them. It was elite the first 2 months of the season, and it has not been. There we go. There's the numbers. So 3 or fewer. So these are yesterday's game notes. So 12 and 22 now, 3 or fewer, 29-11, 4 or more, 23 and 4. They score 4. They score 5. They're unbeatable for the most part. But 29-11 when they score 4. So that's the number. And now 12 and 22 when they scored 3 or less. Most teams are like this. 4 is the magic number for every single team. But that's the way it's just got to be for the Giants. And scoring 2 last night, even with Verlander was just okay last night. I started by saying, is he cooked? Just because over his last almost 30 starts, he hasn't been very good. But, staring at the last couple of games, it's like they got to get offense. 8 for 52 with runners in scoring position, and they've lost 5 of the last 6. I'm not panicking by any means. I'm just telling you what's going on right now. And with Adames struggling, Fitzgerald absolutely being a zero, they're going to get Devers to play first base, which is going to allow Flores to play for the most part at DH. And they got some bad news on Matt Chapman, and that's going to be a little bit longer. So anyway, they're in it. It's fine. Devers is still a great get, but they've got to get the offense going. There's just no doubt. You're looking at this whole thing going, okay, now Tyler Fitzgerald's hitting 143 in June, and he can't hit at Oracle Park. And the problem, and I tell you this all the time, organizational depth as far as position players is not existent. They don't have it. I mean, Bryce Eldridge isn't ready. We continually talk about, I don't know what happened to, a guy like Wisely, who last year looked like he might be something. They're using Meckler down at AAA in kind of a combo role, in that utility role where it's like sometimes outfield, sometimes second base. Like they're trying to find players who can play in this. Luciano cannot play in the field whatsoever. So all of a sudden you're looking down at AAA going, Tyler Fitzgerald is just ass. But they don't feel like they have anybody better, so they've got to continue to play him. It was the same thing at first base. Like we're sitting there staring at Lamont Wade Jr., just like, my God, how much longer can you do this? And they grab, Dominic Smith off the AAA roster of the Yankees. I mean, that's what they lack in organizational depth. Eldridge isn't ready. So at first base, they have to go out of the organization. At second base, I don't know. Do they got to do that again and just go back and give Fitzgerald some time at AAA, regain whatever he's got to regain? But it's getting to the point where it's like second base is like first base was. Like, how much longer are you going to give this guy? He's atrocious, especially at home. Just can't hit. So you're getting nothing out of second base. Adames has been a major disappointment. Casey Schmidt's a 4A player at this point in his career. So again, I don't want to get in here and sit here and say, oh, the Giants are cooked. They're not. But some of these bats have got to get called out, and they got to. And Buster's awesome. Like what he did to get Devers, incredible. But the organization can't be done and sitting on their laurels and high-fiving everybody when you're getting guys like Tyler Fitzgerald and Casey Schmidt not giving you anything at the plate. You got to figure this thing out sooner rather than later. And they've got to maybe do what they did at first base, where it's like, is there anybody outside of the organization who can play second or third? Can we make another trade? You know, they didn't give up a ton, as you're going to hear from Jim Bowden. He goes off. So they've still got a lot here, but something's got to give here. You can't wait a month for Casey Schmidt at third base. You know, I said this the other day. I go, Casey looks relaxed. Casey looks better. He's the third baseman. But doesn't it seem like every time you look up, he's up in a key situation and you're like, oh, please don't throw a slider. Damn it, he threw a slider. And he swung at it and he's out. Anyway, that's what's going on as far as the Giants go. Kyle Harrison, I got to give this kid a ton of credit because I've told you this over the last couple of weeks that I just think his star was going like this. At one point, top left-handed prospect in the game, and then it kind of started going like this. And I like Kyle Harrison as a person. Probably had him on 4 or 5 times on KNBR. Just a great guy. You know, talked to him, very confident, very smart, wise beyond his years. Local kid, so you always were rooting for him. 3rd-round pick, all this, et cetera, et cetera. You know the story. You also probably saw the picture when he's in the pen on Sunday night. You probably know this, but he's in the pen on Sunday night, supposed to pitch against the Dodgers on national TV. And he gets called in at the last minute. He's going to tell you this. And you saw him and he's hugging players and got tears in his eyes. And just very quickly, he's just turned this around and like, it's going to be positive. This is going to be good. So here's Kyle Harrison in Worcester as he's at the AAA affiliate of the Red Sox as they're working on him to expand some pitches. Like he's got a couple of pitches, but they want to get him up to maybe 4 or 5 pitches before he gets to Boston so that he can be a starter. They want to get the guy who was the top left-handed prospect, but as I told you, you're not going to be able to do that with 2 quality pitches. You got to be better. So here's the story. Kyle Harrison showing his typical maturity in that here's how it went down on Sunday as he's in the pen getting ready to start against the Dodgers, and then he gets word that he's being traded to Boston.
Baseball and yeah, just crazy. They're like, you need to go talk to the manager real quick. I'm like, all right. Yeah, next thing you know, I'm here. So excited to be here and stoked about the opportunity.
What did you think it was when they told you that close to a game? Like, what went through your head at that first moment before you even walked in?
At the first moment, I was like, man, why are they bugging me 20 minutes before? I'm like, maybe they got a little inside trick of where they want me to attack these guys, but no, it was the complete opposite, and I was getting shipped off. So, no.
Could you have a better attitude? I'd still be in a shell. I'd be like, wait a minute. I just got traded from the only team I know. I'm from the Bay Area. Went to De La Salle, obviously. He probably thought, man, I'm gonna be here forever. This is gonna be awesome. My parents can just drive on down to San Francisco, see me pitch. This is gonna be the greatest. And you're getting ready for the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball, and somebody says, hey man, Bob Melvin wants to talk to you, and he's thinking to himself, oh, they just probably want to talk. This is unusual, but they probably want to just talk to me about a couple of things about, last minute with these hitters. Goes walking in there, you're on your way to Boston. And I mean, even the dude is just shocked. We all were shocked by the deal. It didn't shock me. I've been telling you for 2 weeks. I'm like, Harrison's probably the guy to go. But still, for him to be like, yeah, you're going to Boston for Rafael Devers. Literally his mindset is, I'm going after the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball, man. This is going to be cool. And then in 30 seconds, you're going to Boston. And look, he had a lot of time to process all this, flight across the country and everything like that. But how many people would go sit in a dugout like that in Worcester? It's not like he went to Boston to the Red Sox. They said, we're going to have you work on some pitches. We want you to expand your repertoire. And he's like, and that's how cool he is. Like, yeah, it was a great experience hugging my teammates goodbye. What? Yeah, it was awesome. Loved it as he's bawling, right? Like, yeah, I'm stoked for the opportunity. I mean, the kid's what, 23 years old? I mean, at 23, there's no way. I wouldn't even reported yet. They're like, I don't know where Lund went, man. He's stuck. I don't know. He got off the plane in like Chicago. I think he's on Rush Street partying. Like, I don't know. It wouldn't happen. So good for him. I mean, what a mature kid. Like I said, every time we talk to him in person many times, talk to him on my show many times. I mean, just that's how he was, always mature. You always thought, wow, what a mature, cool kid. But to get traded 1 minute, and that was day before yesterday, so that was on Tuesday. So within 48 hours, the kid is like stoked for the opportunity. Yeah, like being here. Yeah, it was cool saying goodbye to my teammates. Like, what? Within 48 hours, that's the way he's reacting. So good for Kyle Harrison. I hope he does great. I'm a Kyle Harrison fan. So even though I didn't, as I looked at it and I said Birdsong and Roop and all these guys who passed him up. And so it made a whole lot of sense that Kyle Harrison would be the one traded, because if you're another team, you're thinking, okay, I can work with this guy. He was the lead piece. I still think that it was highway robbery that they got Devers for him and Hicks, who's a throw-in piece because of finances, and a guy like James Tibbs, who's not overly athletic, and then an A-ball arm that's, a dart throw for Devers. I mean, it blows my mind, but I hope that Kyle Harrison does well. What a cool way for him to react. In fact, speaking of, so as you look at the chalkboard there, Harrison talks, Jim Bowden goes off. So Jim Bowden is on AJ Pierzynski's podcast / YouTube show, and this was yesterday. And he talked about the trade itself. And again, remember, this is a guy who's the former general manager of Washington and Cincinnati, has had good success, knows the league, had talked to some people about this trade, and he is absolutely dumbfounded that the Giants were able to get Rafael Devers for the package they gave up.
Devers to the San Francisco Giants, then the return has to start with Bryce Eldridge and either Birdsong or Roop. You're talking about 2 number 5 starters and middle relievers, right? That's what you basically get in Hicks and Harrison. You get a teenage pitcher who's got a big arm, but who knows if he can pitch. And James Tibbs, who, look, I like, right? He went to Florida State. He's got a plus hit tool, plus power tool. Might be a platoon player, but he's not an all-star. And you trade away a 28-year-old superstar? Wait a minute. This guy has 15 home runs. This guy's hit 30 more homers 3 different times in his career. He's a 3.8 WAR player. I don't care how you dice this thing up. He's a superstar player and worth the contract he's getting paid, by the way. And you're going to dump him and trade him because why? Because you didn't handle the offseason right when you signed Alex Bregman and you didn't talk to him? And then you flew to see him and you were mad because he wouldn't play first base. I mean, obviously the Giants have won the trade deadline on June 15th. They get an A+. Buster Posey is just showing everybody what the future in San Francisco is going to be like. He needed power. He needed a bat. He got Devers, and he didn't give up much to get him.
All right, so let me concentrate on a couple of things. So we all know what he just said, but it's just a guy who's been there, done that, and is absolutely dumbfounded. And I don't know how things went down in Boston, but I feel the same way. But we see this all the time. And, of course, they're pissed in Boston because this happened with Mookie Betts, and they didn't get very much. They've done this a few different times, and they're acting like a mid-market team. And as I said, when the trade went down, Buster Posey and the Giants in particular, because Buster just got there in this role, are finally acting like a major market team that takes advantage of either stupid or what Boston's acting like, a mid-market or a small market team. Sometimes the only way I'll defend him is sometimes you can't just shop somebody to everybody, because the way things work nowadays is the word gets out and then you lose leverage on that player. So let's just say Boston shops him, says he is available, and says that to every team, and they start taking the offers. That's getting out. So what happens is now you have to trade the player because he finds out, he's pissed off, and now teams are like, well, you don't have very much leverage, and so you don't get very much in return. But that's really what they did anyway. They wanted to keep it quiet. And Buster was the one, and this is where you give Buster credit, because the way that it's being reported that it went down, that this was a few weeks in the making, that Buster called him and said, is he available? Is he available? Is he available? And they started talking about names back and forth, and then that's what they did. Now, I agree with Bowden in that, look, if I'm getting Devers, I'm getting either Eldridge or Birdsong, and probably both. And that's what I'm starting the conversation with. So when Buster calls me for the first time, I say I'm either Eldridge or Birdsong's in the deal. Preferably Birdsong if I'm Boston, but one of those two guys is absolutely in the deal. They're not off limits. Those are your top 2 prospects. So one of those 2 is in, and then we can talk from there. So just for the sake of conversation, since you're giving up a bat, maybe they want a bat. I don't know what their farm system looks like. I don't know if they need power, if they need hitters, if they need pitchers. Everybody needs pitching. But let's just say the Giants say, okay, no Birdsong, but we'll give you Eldridge, because after all, we're getting a first baseman in this deal. So Devers is going to play first. So, okay, there you go. All right, Eldridge is in the deal. Harrison's in the deal because he's fallen out of favor. Now, if you're starting with Eldridge, then you're going Harrison, and then you're going Tibbs, and then you're going A-ball pitcher that's a dart throw. Okay, I can live with it. But, I mean, Harrison right now, as far as what you would say is he the – I mean, right, just as far as just off the top of my head and not knowing their AAA pitchers all that well, I would say that between Birdsong, Roop, the guys we've seen this year, Birdsong, Roop, and Harrison, he's third. So he's third amongst the pecking order in terms of guys we know of young pitchers within the Giants. And to me, he's a 4 or 5 starter at this point, and probably more so a quality reliever. That's what Harrison is. I don't know Tibbs like Bowden does, but he just said he's not an all-star and he's probably a platoon player. We know that the A-ball guy is a dart throw. We don't know what he's going to be in 5 or 6 years when he makes it. And then Jordan Hicks was thrown in for finances because they owe him about $30 million left on the contract. That was the Giants saying, will you take this guy? I mean, he's got a decent arm, but he's not a starter in the league. So now he's going into your bullpen, and he's a damn expensive bullpen piece. He signed a 4-44 and is a year and a half through it. So that was a piece that the Giants said, will you take him too? So they did them a favor in taking that money. And then essentially, so what you got was Harrison, a dart throw, and Tibbs, who's a platoon player, according to Bowden. That's just not enough. I mean, if the Giants had done that, we'd be up in arms, right? And we don't get as angry as they do in Boston, but as far as how pissed a Bay Area fan base can get, we'd be that. There's no doubt about it. That's just not enough. So there's that side of it. But let me concentrate. Let me see if I can play this. I'm going to fast forward this to a second.
Rafael Devers to the San Francisco.
All right, yeah, whatever. Let's get to the Posey part.
I mean, you didn't talk to him? Like, and then you flew to see him and you were mad because he wouldn't play first base? I mean, obviously the Giants have won the trade deadline on June 15th. They get an A+. Buster Posey is just showing everybody what the future in San Francisco is going to be like.
So that's the part I want to concentrate on. If this is what the future is going to be like, and Buster's going to have, I'm not going to say free reign because that's not it, but clearly the front office, and you saw this in the press conference, they have a large amount of respect for Buster Posey, as they should. But they also have to differentiate between we love Buster Posey, the person and the player, versus the executive. But they've given him the benefit of the doubt to start, which they never gave Farhan, and they weren't going to give really anybody, any other kind of an executive, as I told you, who went to Harvard or Yale or was looking at numbers or anything like that. They got a baseball guy in there. And you heard Greg Johnson say this at the press conference. Buster was keeping him abreast of everything that was going on as far as these talks. You know, we're getting close. We're getting close. This is the deal. We really should do this. I mean, he greased it up the whole time. It's not like he walked into Greg Johnson's office and said, hey, man, we're doing this today. No, he bought him dinner first. He gave him a few glasses of wine. He bought a nice dessert. You know, they went out again, second, third date. So in other words, what I mean by that is he was telling him through the whole process what was going on, getting him excited about it. We might be able to get this guy. This is all we're going to have to give up. This is the finances of it. Like he kind of massaged the whole process until they were able to do it. Rather than running in there at the trade deadline saying, we have to do this. Come on. That's not really how it works. And so he massaged it and he understood it, but he had the respect from the front office to be able to pull it off. But what Bowden is saying here is, and again, remember, he's talking to people around the league, and they're scared. They're scared of Buster Posey now. You can just tell, like, okay, this is the way it's going to be. They're actually going to act like a big market team, spend money, and listen to Buster Posey. Now, here's the one catch to the whole thing. They've got to win. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They're not out of it. They're still a playoff team. If they're not a playoff team, then I'm not going to say there's hell to pay because that's too strong of a word, but they're certainly going to be very hesitant to add payroll in the future. So that's where the pressure comes into this situation. Devers costs a lot of money by Giant standards. It's a very fair contract as far as Major League Baseball standards. I've told you this, 8 and 226 remaining after this year. He's done in his age 36 season, a guy who can hit like this and be a DH at that point, pure DH. He's still going to be able to hit at that point of his career, unless there's injuries or something like that. But he's in pretty good shape. He's not overweight. He's not anything like that. He's a good athlete. So he's going to be DHing at age 36. He should be fine through this contract, unless there's major injuries or something like that. Nothing's guaranteed. But they've got to win. So Buster, I'm sure, came in there and said, this is the missing piece. We've got the pitching. We've got the bullpen. You know, we've got XYZ. We're missing a major bat in the middle of this thing, and we'll be fine. Now, we'll see when Chapman comes back and everything's fine. But I still think whether it's second base, where clearly they don't have any organizational depth that they trust, whether it's second base or right field, which is 𝐼𝐵𝐻, or whatever the case may be, those are really the 2 positions that stick out because Schmidt's going to be out and Chapman's going to be in and Bailey's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. So second base or right field, they've probably got to get another stick, especially with Chapman out for another month? So that's how I see it. That's the only pressure is, look, they completely fleeced him. The rest of the league, I think, is afraid that the Giants will actually start acting like a major market team because Buster can shake loose the coins needed from the powers that be. But the one thing is, I'm sure they told Buster this in a very nice fashion, at least to start, but we got to win. Okay, we'll spend the money, but we got to win. And Greg Johnson said as much at the press conference. Like, yeah, we are making a commitment here, but we feel like this is a playoff team. In fact, who did you just talk to? I think John Shea. In fact, I'll have that for you tomorrow. I cut those cuts out, and so we'll do that tomorrow. But anyway, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. At some point, because, for example, Martin Maldonado is we just saw him. What team? Is he with Houston? Who's he with? No, he's not with Houston. Anyway, Patrick Bailey is on the fast track to being Martin Maldonado, which there's nothing wrong with that, but a very, very good defensive catcher. Calls games, frames well, can't hit worth the lick. I mean, I don't know what his career batting average is, but every time you see Maldonado, he's hitting about $185, and he'll jump from team to team. Bailey's really good defensively, but you just can't have a stick hitting $185. Like, I'm sorry that I'm going to bring up the Dodgers here, but like Will Smith, who just hit a game-winning home run last night, hit a go-ahead home run the other night. Like, when you have a catcher that can hit, and we know, because we had Buster Posey here, it is such an advantage over other teams. But at least a catcher on most teams, like hit 220, hit 240, give us a little bit of pop. Like, can we get a catcher that can hit 220 with 15 home runs and 60 RBIs? Like, he doesn't have to be all world. I get it. You're very, you're tired back there. You're calling games. There's a lot of different things, and it's a bonus if you can bring a stick to the plate. That would be wonderful. But you can't be hitting like 185 with atrocious at bats. It's almost like sometimes he doesn't even care. Like, pops out and goes, oh, well. It's like 220, like hit 220, give us 12 to 15 home runs, knock in 55 to 60 runs. Like, that's okay. We can live with that, man. We can live with that. No, not Candy Maldonado. But we can live with that. But when you have a lineup where, okay, now Schmidt's in the lineup and Fitzgerald's in the lineup and Adames isn't doing what he should, then you're going, man, that catcher hitting $185 with horrendous at bats is really sticking out. And I've told you this before, like the key to all of it, even with getting Devers, is Adames has got to start hitting. Like, I'm watching him in the 2-hole last night going, okay, he's not really a 2-hole hitter right now. Like, the way that I would look at the Giants lineup, I'd start with Ramos. I get it, right on left. You want to start with Lee, but Lee's not hitting well right now. Ramos would be my leadoff hitter. Devers would be my 2, right, left. I'm going to move Adames down in the order a little bit. Now, when Chapman comes back, what I would do is I'd go right, left, right. So I'd go Ramos hitting 1, Devers hitting 2. He's my best hitter. That's where I want my best hitter in the 2-hole now. I'd have Chapman hitting 3. I'd move Adames down the line, maybe 5 or 6, because he's just not a number 2 hitter. He's just not hitting that well. He's hitting Mendoza line. And this just in, it's June 19th. It's Juneteenth today. It's not early in the season, and he's Mendoza lining it. And his at-bats have looked better. There's no question about it. And I get why they're doing what they're doing. They're putting him in the 2-hole, and we saw this last night. They're putting him in the 2-hole going, damn, I can't walk Adames. I can't pitch around Adames. I got to give him something to hit because Devers is up next. So it does help the entire lineup, like Bob Melvin said the other day. So what they're thinking is, let's put Adames in the 2-hole, put Devers behind him. Adames sees better pitches because they know that they can't walk Adames ahead of Devers, so he's going to see better pitches. Like, I understand that, but he's got to start raking, or else I got to put somebody else. I got to put him in the 2-hole and set him up for somebody else. Now Chapman's not there. No, I understand that, but still. Anyway, all right, that's the story as far as Bowden going off is concerned. That is your baseball story. Harrison, runners in scoring position. Tyler Fitzgerald's got to get going. By the way, that's a 143 batting average. Is Verlander done? I popped up those numbers for you a little bit earlier. If you're joining us, those are not impressive numbers. He wasn't terrible last night. The offense was. But I'm not going to say he's cooked, but I think he's a 5-starter at this point in his career. So that's the story on the Giants so far. In terms of, let me just double check on baseball, make sure nobody in the chat room wants to discuss. By the way, If you are watching the show a little bit later or you're listening on the podcast, two things. Come over to YouTube right underneath where I'm pointing there. If you're watching on the podcast, you can't see that, but I'm pointing. Put any questions, comments, thoughts in the comments. If you're watching live, if you want to get your questions, comments, thoughts on the board 100%, hit me with the super. Support the show if you would, and I'll get to all of those. And maybe if you're listening on the podcast or you're watching a little bit later, the best place to hit me up away from YouTube is X at John Lund Radio. I'm on X quite a bit. So if you've got questions, comments, thoughts, you can hit me up there as well. All right, let's go to Lakers for $10 billion. I'll take Lakers for $10 billion, Bob. The Bus family, Genie Bus, is selling the Lakers for $10 billion. By the way, they don't own the arena. So think about the Warriors, and Joe Lacob isn't selling this team anytime soon. But if the Lakers are worth $10 billion, the Warriors with the arena that they own, what are they worth? 12, 15? I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, the Lakers will go for $10 billion, and it's a group that owns the Dodgers. So the thing that sucks about that is that if you take, now this is, the rules are different and all those kind of things. In baseball, you can just outspend your opponents and pay the penalties and all those kind of things. In the NBA, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's been fun for this period of time. And I don't know if they'll keep their front office intact. If I was the Dodgers and knowing what the level of commitment to winning for the Dodgers is, this is how I see it. Because I don't care that it's going for $10 billion or whatever. That doesn't really matter to me. The way that I look at it is I like the incompetence of the Lakers right now. LeBron James is getting older. I would have thought in this offseason they would have moved James because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have Luka Doncic at his age. And Doncic is better served to have players around him that can just shoot the basketball rather than splitting time with an older LeBron James who doesn't want to play on both ends of the floor. So you got two superstars who don't want to play on both ends of the floor. Defensively, specifically, they don't want to. And they both need the ball in their hands to be most effective. And the Lakers, like the Warriors, lack size. So how can you get players who are on the same page as Luka Doncic, same age as Luka Doncic, and make your team better? It's not like LA would be up in arms if LeBron James were traded. He's not a Laker. He's not Kobe. He's not that at that ilk. He's not that kind of guy. He's not Jerry West. He's not Kareem. He's not, he's not Magic. They don't look at him that way. He gave him a bubble championship. But if they were to trade LeBron James for players who better fit around Luka and were more the age of Luka and more specifically had some size, the Lakers would be much more dangerous. But what they're going to do is they're going to go through another season of having, let's split the ball while the other guy stands around. Two guys who are fairly different on defense and lacking size. And that's what the Lakers are going to be again. And so the thing that scares me is not, I don't care about the money and all that kind of stuff. I know that that's making the headlines. But what scares me is an infusion of bright people, the same kind of people who are running the Dodgers. I'm not saying that the same management will manage the Lakers because it's a different sport. But what the Dodgers have shown is they will uncover, turnover, I should say, every rock to win and give every resource to win. And they're doing it at such a high level that it's annoying to everybody else. They're lapping the sport right now. Well, if they take that same mindset into the NBA, then the Lakers are going to be relevant again. Because to me, you're looking at the Lakers, and I just laugh and scratch my head. Now, look, we have a lot of time in the offseason. We're not even done. We could be done tonight as Oklahoma City looks on the verge of winning an NBA championship. 𝐿𝐴 HALIBURTON is potentially out of this game with a strained calf, so the NBA season could end. And so we're not even technically to the offseason, but we are seeing trades already. Bain went to Orlando as the biggest trade, so moves could be made. The thing that scares me being in the Bay Area is that a group led by the Dodgers will say, okay, let's find the same type of people who can take this thing to the next level because we're not content being a 6 seed. And that's kind of what was happening with the Dodgers. It was great. The Dodgers were kind of meandering a little bit. And all of a sudden the current group buys them and goes, we're the Dodgers. What are we doing here? And so they start winning at a really high level. And my fear is that they actually get competent people in there to run the Lakers and they stop spinning their wheels. And all of a sudden the Lakers become the Lakers again and dominant. And you've already got Oklahoma City. You've already got what San Antonio could do if they add Durant. You already have Houston with a really good young team. They could make a trade. Like all of a sudden, it's kind of nice that the Lakers are kind of spinning their wheels at the bottom and not really being the Lakers. And if a group headed up by people who run the Dodgers can convert what they know into, okay, let's get competent people to actually run the Lakers, then they're relevant again, and that's not good. That's not good for the Warriors. That's not good for the NBA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see. So even though it's the $10 billion and that's the thing that's getting the headlines, media, whether you hate the Dodgers or not, and I get it, but you have to respect what they're doing. And if someone's successful in business, I don't care what they sell. I mean, this is always the example I use. Okay, you sell sprockets. You sell Spacely sprockets, and you're really good at it. Okay, well, you take another business, and that's probably going to be successful too. And you take another business, and that's probably going to be successful too. Like, it's the process of the business that you run. So it doesn't really matter a lot of times what the product is. You have a system, and you just go business to business to business with that system. Like, you look at these owners who own teams, they don't have one business that hit most of the time. Now, Arthur Blank had Home Depot. Okay, that's pretty good. But a lot of times they've got 40, 50 businesses that they just boom, same system, boom, 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 and it works. So that's what I'm saying is the Dodgers have a system that works, whether you like them or not. And so then all of a sudden you relay that now to the Lakers, and you know how to identify successful people. Like, I'll give you a great example. One of the first calls the Lakers are probably going to make under their new ownership, it's going to be Bob Myers. Okay, Bob, we saw how successful you were with the Warriors. You helped Washington you turn things around in Washington. He's a culture changer, is what Bob Myers is. I'm shocked that he, like, if I'm the Clippers, if I'm anybody, Philly, any of these teams that aren't living up to expectations, I'd be like, Bob Myers. So, look, I don't know what's going to happen with Rob Pelinka or anybody that's within the front office of the Lakers, but one thing you do know, when teams change ownership groups, they want their own people in there. They want their own culture people in there. And so I wouldn't be shocked at all. And plus, how much longer is Bob Myers going to sit next to a couple of jackasses in Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith screaming at each other, and he's sitting in the middle of that with actual basketball knowledge trying to get it out, but you got two guys just screaming and yelling and all that, with preconceived notions who are playing solitaire or don't know shit about the game and aren't watching the game. And Bob Myers is going, do I really want to do this? Like, I don't know what ESPN's paying him, but are you kidding me? Lakers come calling, hey, Bob, guy who went to UCLA. I know he's from Danville, but I mean, obviously familiar with Southern California, and they're going to give him a lot of money to change the culture with the Lakers. I'd imagine that Bob Myers would probably listen to that. That'd be one of the first things that I would do. People want ownership groups want their own people in place. So whomever is in the front office for the Lakers probably isn't there for long, because if they had been winning championships and all those kind of things, Jeannie Buss probably doesn't sell the Lakers. But ownership group that has had success with the Dodgers going in there, they'll get their culture people change, or their culture changing people in there. Wouldn't be shocked at all if it was Bob Myers. So we'll see. What else do we have? Closeout game, Oklahoma City. I just kind of talked about that, and I don't want to be a broken record here. If Oklahoma City wins tonight, that's going to be a dynasty. I don't see them screwing up. I thought maybe if the Pacers could have taken a 3-1 series lead, Oklahoma City panics in the offseason. They don't win the championship. My God, do we got to go get Durant back? Do we got to get Giannis? Do we give up some of this young core? Do we give up some of these first-round picks? If they win tonight, they stay the course and probably are a dynasty. And that's not great for the old 2-year window of the Warriors. Haliburton, he's been one of the weirdest players I've ever seen in a playoff. He's hit all these game-winning shots. He hit one in game one. He hit one in every series leading up to the NBA Finals. And maybe it's just the injury. We'll find out at the end of the season, because he's not going to complain during the season or during the finals. But the way that he has just disappeared, especially in first halves of these NBA Finals, is amazing. They say that he is doubtful to play tonight. I can't imagine that he would be. I don't know what the latest is. I have not hit Twitter today. Sorry, I don't want to call it X. Oh, yeah, I saw this. I've got this thing. I got to do this. Hang on one second. You know what? I should have had a Caboose today, because there was a hilarious. Did you catch the A's game last night? What were they talking about? But there was a Freudian slip. I got to send this to myself because we'll have it later on the show. Sorry, just doing a little bit of stuff here. In fact, you know what? Let me just do this here, because I'll do this in the Caboose now that I just found this. I forgot. Oh no, I don't want to mail it to myself. What are you doing? Hang on. Sorry, I'm doing some on-air production here. Share via. Let's put it in on the. There we go. Put it on the computer. We'll play this later. Make sure it pops up here. Hang on one sec. Sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll make sure that we have this a little bit later. I just feel really bad. Hang on. Sorry. All right, we'll play that later. All right, we will do a caboose now that I think about it. What the hell was I even talking about? Oh, Halliburton, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just lost my train of thought because I was screwing around with something else. Oh, whether Halliburton was playing tonight. Let me double check that too. Doing a little more on-air producing, which I'm sure is very exciting for you watching, however you're watching. Don't see anything. Udoka with the Rockets extension. That doesn't surprise me at all. Week away from the NBA draft. Cooper Flag. Let's see. What else do we have here? Anything else? Okay. Don't see anything right now on Halliburton, so don't know if he's playing tonight or not. All right. Enough of that. I don't want to bore you any more than I have to. All right. So closeout game in OKC. No Halliburton potentially tonight. That's what's going on as far as the NBA finals are concerned. Before I get to the last couple of things, do remember, by the way, I want to remind you, you're watching John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Also on the Bay Area Sports Collective as well. You're watching on X at John Lund Radio, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. Please come over to John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Make sure that you hit that like button. Please subscribe. And you know this, if you're a regular watcher or listener of the show, we send stuff out through the day. So make sure on John Lund Unleashed, you are subscribed and you have those alerts on. Thank you very much for that. All right. I don't talk a lot about the WNBA. It's not that I don't like it. I have a lot of respect. I have a different perspective because the Utah Stars no longer exist, and I'm not talking about the ABA team that had Moses Malone on it. I am talking about the WNBA, and I was actually a sideline reporter the first year of the WNBA for the Utah Stars team, which went to San Antonio, and then I don't know what happened to them from there. But and it was not a plum assignment, but one of the things I wanted to do with it was I wanted to be part of the Jazz broadcast, so they were like, well, you got to do this for a summer, and let's see if you're any good. And I said, all right, cool, I'll do that. And so it's beautiful in Salt Lake City in the summertime, but I'm stuck inside the Delta Center, and there might have been, 500 to 800 people in there. The league was just getting underway. People weren't really down with it, and it just took a while to get going. It was an interesting demographic that was in that building. Anyway, so to see where it was at that point is my point here. To see where it was then, to see where it's grown now, I have an immense amount of respect. But where I guess I don't understand this whole thing is I look at Caitlyn Clark as the WNBA's version of not Michael, but remember when, you may not remember this, but Bowden Magic obviously played for the NCAA title in, ironically enough, Salt Lake City in 1979. And the NBA at that point was not doing so great. But Magic and Larry Bird turned the whole thing around. And from that point, the NBA started to just go like this. The NBA finals were on tape delay. The games of the week were on tape delay. Like the NBA wasn't even close to what it is now. But Magic and Michael made the NBA cool and center of the plate and mainstream. And then Jordan came along 5 years later in 84, and it just went boom, 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 boom. And then it just took off like a jet. But Magic and Michael, the modern version of the NBA, they're the ones who turned it all around. And to me, Caitlyn Clark is that for the WNBA. When she was out with an injury briefly, ratings dropped by 50%. And so the treatment like this, and I'm sure you've seen this video, but let me just play it again for you. So she gets pushed, she gets hit, she's on the ground. I mean, it's just like, are you kidding me? Let me play this again. And I don't think she's LeBroning this. I think this is actual. I mean, I think she really got hit. It's like a friggin' pinball there, right? And this is the girl. This is the goose that laid the golden egg. This is who's going to get you more money. This is who is going to get you a union. This is who's going to get you better travel. I mean, she's doing all this stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's just overall resentment. At first, I thought it was a racial issue. Her and Angel Reese are always getting into it and all those kind of things. So maybe it was, the other girls didn't like the white girl, kind of the Larry Bird being the best player in the league, resentment, whatever the case. I don't know. But the reality of it is do they not understand that you're going to make more money because of her? Because TV ratings equal money. And when she's out, when she's not playing, those things drop. When she goes to an arena near you, it sells out. Before that, it didn't. I mean, they were on a good, don't get me wrong, they were doing better and better and better every year. But I mean, she's made this thing a rocket ship. Ratings are higher. They're selling out arenas. They're moving games from small arenas to bigger arenas because of her. And she's only in her second year, and she's the best player in the game. And she's the highest profile player in the game. She's raising all boats. She's doing all of this herself. And so the rest of the league is beating the shit out of her. And it's kind of like when Jordan comes into the league. Like, I understand there were Jordan rules at the beginning and Detroit's trying to win a championship and they're beating him around a little bit. But I mean, if LeBron or Curry or anybody had been treated like she was just treated in that video, like Adam Silver would kick him out of the game. Like, it's just, she's being pinballed there. And like I said, that's not just LeBron diving on the floor. That's her getting hit going, what the hell, bro? I mean, seriously, look at this thing. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, she just got blocked to the floor, man. This is one of the most confusing things to me. Like, if I was on another team, I would protect her like Maurice Lucas used to do. Or somebody said Charles Oakley. Like, there was a girl named Sophie Cunningham. And like, she actually stood up for her on her own team on Indiana for like the first time. And she's being hailed as this hero. Like, first of all, not only if I was on her team would I go to the mat for her, but if I was the rest of the league, I'd be like, are you kidding me? She's like the boy in the bubble. Like, you don't touch her. Like, I mean, like, seriously, if she gets hurt, our ratings go like this. If she doesn't play, the arena doesn't sell out. Like, which means advertisers, which means money. I mean, this isn't that difficult of an equation, because if I can figure it out, who can't? It's basic math. More eyes, more money. More tickets sold, more money. More exposure, more money. She's bringing all of that. And yet everybody, like all these women in the league, resent her. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, if I'm a coach of a team, it's like, look, we need to stop her. We need, whatever. But you can't hurt her. Like, and if you're the league, you got to give her like quarterback rules. Like, you touch her, you're out of the game. Caitlyn Clark rules. You knock her to the floor, you're out. You're done. You can defend her all you want. You can't touch her. Don't care. Don't care. She's not Michael. She's Magic and Bird in 1979 entering the league going, we've got a chance here. She's the goose that laid the golden eggs. You don't touch her. Like, what's so hard about that concept to understand? It's proven. She plays, ratings are up like 50%. She comes to your arena, she doubles the ticket sales. Like, whatever. And like I said, I've watched maybe one full game that she's even played in her entire life. But I understand. I know what's going on. I've seen the highlights. I watched last night. I see how she gets beat up. And I don't think she's diving on the floor like LeBron. She's not, she's not flying into the first row when she gets touched by a pinky finger. I don't think. Anyway. For the league to not, the league should have a symposium, just sit down with everybody and say, stop. What are you doing? What do you not understand about the finances here? This is the golden child. Like, stop. And if you don't, you're out, man. We don't need you. We need her. Anyway. All right. I guess so, man. I guess so. To me, whew. Yeah, I didn't think there was flopping. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. I mean, it's not like, what does she weigh? $155, $160 maybe? But she's not big, so it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see it. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple equation. And if I'm the league, I'm telling the coach to get it across to the other team. Look, you got a defender. I understand that. But if that kind of pinball thing happens, like the first girl, like, sorry, I got to do this one more time. Let's see here. Sorry, that's the end. Okay, out of the game. You're out of the game. You're definitely out of the game. Like, those two out. Like, automatic. You're out. Oh, man, it's crazy. Like, seriously, I understand that Steph gets beat on a little bit. There's no question about it. But, if you did that to Steph Curry, the two people, the first person, out. Second person who did the body block, out. Like, there's more physicality in that game right there than most NBA games. most, and some NFL games. I mean, my God, man, what's going on? Wow, girls gone wild. Just crazy, man. Crazy. Anyway, no, I hear you, man. I get it. I don't bring it up often. And, look, I think it's great how far it's come, but my God, man, how stupid can you be? Like, hey, let's knock her out so that we can have 50% ratings and our arena can be half full. Like when she first came into the league, I think it was like Washington or something, and they had like a 5,000 seat arena and they had to move it to a 17,000 seat arena. Like that was happening all over the league last year. Like our normal gym, we play in is like 7,000 or 8,000, and we're selling it out. Like, you really think that they're there for you? Like, man, you kidding? No, man, I don't want to make more money. Because it's not like I don't know what the average salary now in the league is, but it's not enough to live on, really. So it's like, do you want first class flights? Do you want to be seen? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to, do you want to have a union? Do you want to get respect? Nah, any of that stuff. I want to beat her up. Let's see. Have we done enough random things today? I don't know if we have done enough random things today. What else do we have going on today? Anybody got anything on a Thursday edition of the show? Any random things that we need to discuss today? Have I hit everything? Oh, I know. I got to play. Oh, I got 2 things to play for you baseball-wise. Sorry, I jumped away from baseball and I didn't play these 2 things. Let me play 2 things here before we get to. I should have played this within the Giants, but sorry. We'll do these as part of random things, and then I'll hit you with a caboose. And these are all baseball related anyway. Seth Halverson of the Colorado Rockies, who throws well over 100 miles an hour. Did you see this last night? Now, I don't know. I think I might have told this story before. But I had a guy in Little League, and I can still remember his name because he scared the hell out of me so much. I maybe it was in Pony League. I was maybe like 13 or 14, whatever it was. But I was just, I was a leadoff hitter that would steal base, all this stuff. I didn't have any power. And there was this guy named Jim Alexander. And Jim Alexander was wild. And he kind of had like a Chris Sale kind of a release. And so he'd almost come from behind you. I was a switch hitter, but he'd come from behind you with like his release point, and you didn't know where the hell the ball was going. So it might hit the backstop sometimes. It might be a strike route down the middle, but I hated facing Jim Alexander. I hated it, man. It was like John Kruk in the All-Star game against Randy Johnson. Like I was just like, hate this guy, hate going against this guy. So I don't know if Halverson last night, I think it was against the Cardinals, did this or Nationals. I think I don't know if he did this on purpose to scare the hell out of the hitter like Jim Alexander used to do to me, but then he dots 3 straight pitches. So this is the end of the Rockies Nationals game last night, and Halverson throws maybe the worst pitch I've ever seen. Like this is like a first pitch of a game, a ceremonial first pitch. He missed it so bad, and then he dots 3 straight pitches to end the game at about 102 miles an hour. So you tell me, do you think he did this first pitch on purpose so he could scare the hell out of the hitter and then dot 3 pitches like he did? Watch this.
Whoa, what happened there?
Let me start this again. Watch how wide this pitch is behind the batter.
Whoa, what happened there? Honest to goodness, I've never at any area.
Dot.
1-1.
Dot.
That's.
Dot.
He's got him on the outside corner. Ball game over.
I mean, how does a guy throw a pitch that wildly that it goes off the screen? Like, you can't even see that. That's nuclear loosh. Like, completely off the screen. And then boom, boom, boom. And because the guy's up there going, is he going to throw it behind me again? My God, this guy's wild. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. We got to play it again. Okay, so again, the ball goes off the screen. It's so bad. And then he dots 3 in a row.
Whoa, what happened there? Honest to goodness, I've never at any area.
Breaking ball.
1-1.
Gas.
That's.
Gas.
He's got him on the outside.
So he throws a 91 mile an hour breaking ball right on the bottom of the strike zone, and then he dots 102 inside and 102 outside, like right on the chalk, right on the black. Just nails those pitches. And the first pitch he throws is like 5 feet behind the guy. You can't tell me that he did that to say, hey, I'm wild, I'm crazy. It totally reminded me of Jim Alexander, because that's what he would do. I'd be up there and he'd be like, phew. I'm like, phew. I was scared. And then he would just kill me. Anyway, that was crazy. And then the other one was, I feel really bad for this Arkansas left fielder. Did you see this last night? So Arkansas is down in the College World Series. Winner goes on to play Coastal Carolina in the final 3-game set to determine the national champion. Arkansas has had this happen before. They're up 5-3, line drive left field. Kid's got to catch it, right? I mean, it's pretty much right at him. He slips. I think he's nervous, and then LSU ties it and eventually wins. Watch this.
This ball.
You can start this again.
This ball is hooked to left field, and a bad read. It goes off of the left fielder's head, Davalon. Both runs are going to come in, and we are tied again. Oh, my goodness. He slipped, and it looked like it went right off of his body. This ball is hooked to left field, and a bad read. It goes off of the left fielder's head, Davalon.
And there were 2 outs, and the kid just, I don't know if he slipped, got nervous, whatever the case may be, and the LSU ties it. They ended up winning, and now they're going to play Coastal Carolina. And the kid, they showed the kid in the dugout, he's bawling, and people are trying to console him and all those kind of things. And it's just, I mean, I felt terrible for the kid. Like, it's one thing if a team beats you, but it's like they had a couple opportunities to close out that game. That wasn't the only play, but I mean, it's a line drive right at you. They always say that that's the toughest play. I get it. He's a college kid. He's not a professional, but it's like, oh, dude, it's right at you. And he's probably like, I don't know. He might be like me, because I played when in my illustrious career, I was either a center fielder or a left fielder. And there were just at times where I'd sit out there and like, don't hit it to me. Don't hit it to me. And maybe my most embarrassing sports moment of all time, as we go random here, is I was in left field. I was in high school. I've told this story before, but I was in left field, and it was a sunny day, and I'm out there, and I got the sunglasses on, but it's still glaring pretty well. And I think like Mike 𝐼𝐻𝐵𝐿 had one of these at him, that time of day where the sun's just right in your face. And bases are loaded, 2 out. It's early in the game. It's not late. It didn't cost him the game. Probably eventually did, but there's 2 out, and the ball gets hit, and I see it, and then I lose it. I lose the damn ball. I can't see it. And I kind of do one of these things like, where is it? And it hits me square in the face. Like square in the face. So it hits me, knocks me down, cracks my glasses off my face, actually hits me so hard under here, I start to develop a black eye. And I'm laying on the ground. I scramble to pick up the ball. I throw it into second base. And they score all 3 runs, and then you come jogging in from the outfield, your glasses are broken, and they're like, dude, you're starting to get a black eye. It's the most embarrassing thing, because here's the other thing too. A lot of times when you're in high school, you're playing sports, like to impress the girls. And so I'm in the dugout. I'm developing a black eye underneath this eye. Plus, I think the glasses they were like, big sport glasses had like dug into my face, and so like cut me. So it's not only that, it's like the dude who got the black eye with the cut under the eye who cost us 3 runs. And they're consoling the kid in college because they're a little bit more mature. But in high school, I could hear them murmuring. Like, they're just like, what an asshole. What a dumbass. Like, I can't believe he couldn't catch that. And in my defense, I was a decent outfielder. I was fast. I couldn't see it. And so it's so embarrassing. Now, was it the World Series? Did I cost my team a chance to win a national championship? No. And the problem with that, unfortunately for that kid is, and I don't even know his name, is he's always going to be that guy. He's always going to be that guy. They're going to show that highlight forever. And no matter what he does in his life, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to outrun that. Like, maybe if he's like the CEO or comes up with something or invents something, or, but I mean, if he's just an average guy, Joe Salesman or whatever, like his whole life, oh, you're that Arkansas left fielder. Like, I don't know who he is, but like, let's say he stays in that part of the country, right? The southern part of the country, maybe stays in Arkansas, and his name is, whatever it is. Like, he'll never outrun that. In fact, if I was him, I'd move so fast from I'd get in the transfer portal. I'd get out of there. I don't know if he's a senior, but I'd get out of Arkansas. I try to go as far as I possibly can, like maybe to the West Coast, maybe to the East Coast, somewhere like that. Whatever the case may be, get out of the South, transfer somewhere else, maybe change my name. I don't know. But anyway, feel bad for that kid. So there you go. All right, last one. Let me share my screen with you. You see this last night? We'll call this the Sweet Clean Family Friendly Caboose pistol. Did you see? I think I have this. Oh yeah, I really feel bad for Jenny Kavner on this last night. Did you see this whole thing? Thank you, Last Dive Bar. By the way, this happened last night.
Want to make a friendly wager that Brent Rooker reaches base here?
Hey, I'm into that. You want to Dippin' Dots?
Ooh, okay.
All right.
I'd take some Dippin' Dots. Ooh,
What'd you say?
Okay.
All right.
I'd take some Dippin' Dots on that.
Say again?
Okay.
All right.
I'd take some Dippin' Dots on that.
Ooh, unfortunate.
And Brent Rooker to right field. It'll bounce in front of Cam Smith, and I am getting Dippin' Dots, baby.
Well, at least she caught it the first time. But yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. And that, of course, because we are sophomoric and I'm not the only one. There you go. She's never going to live that one down. Dippin' Dots. But I will give her credit, because what happens is some people, they get flustered by that kind of stuff. She did the thing that you're taught to do when you misspeak like that. And I've done that many, many times. When you misspeak like that, what you're supposed to do is just keep on going. You act like it never happened. Just keep on going. Because if you don't, then, you know, like, it's a problem. So she kept going. So good for her. Very, very good for her. She did the right thing. You say Dippin' Dots, you just got to keep going. That's kind of how it goes. So anyway, there you are. That will be your sweet, clean, family-friendly Caboose pistol. By the way, I moved it up in the music, and so I could have found it really, really fast. Watch this.
John Lund Unleashed presents the Caboose
Already played
pistol.
it.
Wedged in the crack of her buttocks.
Somehow, someway, Lundo thinks this is the best way to leave a final impression on you for the day.
The old Caboose pistol, everybody has one.
Did you say Caboose?
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Leave me out of this, you weirdo. Here's John.
All right, so there you go. I played it, the Caboose pistol, last. I shouldn't have played it first. So there you go. Dippin' Dots. But she was a professional. She kept going. Way to go. All right, there you go. That is episode 170 for John Lund Unleashed. Much appreciated your participation in the program, as always, on this Thursday. Remember, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends and enemies about the channel. That would be great as well. Spread the word so we can grow the community. Make sure that you have those alerts on, because this is not the only thing that we'll put out today. We got lots of other things that we're going to shoot out today. So make sure you have those alerts on. Please give us a like before you get out of here. Please, please, please. Hit us up in the Bay Area Sports Collective as well. That Big B, they're on YouTube as well. My show is there, as well as John Lund Unleashed. Tom Tolbert is there. Polymax Particles with Creative Tony. Rod Brooks and Quality Hang, Jeremy Affelt, Amy G, all sorts of great podcasts and YouTube shows. Thanks for watching on Facebook today, LinkedIn, X at John Lund Radio. Hit all the comments right underneath me. If you're watching the show a little bit later, you can hit me with comments. I will always hit you back. And if maybe you're listening to the podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcast, you can hit me up on X as well, at John Lund Radio. And for all things Unleashed, all you have to do, why does that hiccup just come up? All you have to do is go to johnlundunleashed.com for all things Unleashed. You hit me up with something on LinkedIn. I'll make sure to get back to you on that as well. Anything else today that we missed? I think we're good. Thank you, Nutter. Much appreciated. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. Yeah. I knew people would enjoy that. I did. There you go. Yes, I am sophomoric, but you know, like I said, she worked through it, because a lot of people would just be like, "Oh my God, I'm never." But you know, you live for a minute. So anyway, there you go. All right, that is a Thursday edition of John Lund Unleashed. Go out there and have a tremendous day, and I will speak to you soon. Maybe later today if we get breaking news. If not, we'll put out a bunch of stuff, and then we'll speak to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the Friday edition of the show. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed. We'll try to be better next time, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Please like and subscribe on the John Lund Unleashed Pod YouTube channel. Watch live shows weekdays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And make sure to have your alerts on for shows throughout the day or night. All things Lund can be found at johnlundunleashed.com. johnlundunleashed.com.
Goodbye!